After 3 years doing content, just me and my many tripods now, we say our prayers to the dead ones who've given their time and their service, who've been replaced with better ones, thank God. But maintaining a certain level of, well, keeping your content dynamic. At least for me, after 3 years, only having a tripod, not having a camera person to follow me around and do things like that, made my content start to look a little stale, right? There was no movement within the frame. There was only movement of the subject in the frame. And for me, I started thinking and feeling like that just wasn't enough for what I wanted out of my content creation. So let me tell you about CapCut. We know CapCut. We love CapCut. I have CapCut Pro. I will give my firstborn child to CapCut Pro. No, Ducky. Not you. Not this firstborn child, who actually, by the way, is wanting to say hi. Can you see her? Say hi, everyone. Say hi, Ducky. Hi, Queen of the Universe. Anyway, let me tell you about one feature in CapCut Pro that I just recently learned about somehow, and that's keyframes, and how incredibly transformative utilizing keyframes is, especially for my content where I'm walking away from the camera, where it would just be the back of me walking, still frame, not moving. It looks like I have a person following me. I am over the moon screaming about how much I love keyframes in CapCut and how it's taken my content from this static level that it was and elevated it to this dynamic. It's just dynamite. Oh, that was lame and I can't take it back, but here we go. So I figured what I could do today was sit down and do a walkthrough, step by step, on how to use keyframes in CapCut Pro to take your content from looking like this, where it's just kind of sitting still, to, I don't know, looking around the room, coming closer, coming farther away, you name it. So what do you say? We pull up a video that the Queen of the Universe did for us. Thank you, Miss Ducky. And we play with some keyframes. Alrighty, y'all, we are in CapCut. We have a video loaded of the Queen. We love her. And now, looking at this shot, let's say we want to add in some keyframes to do something like zoom, right? To zoom from, let's say, where we are at now to right up close to her. Let's look at how we do that. First thing you're going to do, you're going to go to the very end of your film strip and make sure your video is positioned within the frame how you want it. Then you're going to click this button right here. That is a keyframe. That adds a keyframe to your video. Then, let's say we want it zoomed in all the way once we reach right here at this spot. You're going to go ahead and add another keyframe at the end of where you want the zoom to be. Then, once you have that keyframe added, you're going to zoom your frame using your hands or whatever to the exact frame you want it to end on. Let's say I want it to end exactly right there. Let's look at what that did. Oh, we zoom in. Oh, we zoomed. That brought us right to there. Now let's say we want to zoom back out, right? All we need to do is add another keyframe by hitting that same button. While your cursor is over that keyframe, you're going to zoom your frame back out to where you want it to sit. Now, let's look at what that did. Zoomed us in, zoomed us way in, zoomed us, oh, we in. And we zoom in back out. Oh, yeah. Okay, now let's look at some other ways you can play with keyframes, right? Because I mentioned you can look around the room and everything. So let's say once you're zoomed in to this peak level here, we want to add us looking over to the right for me, so left for you. What you're going to do is you're going to go a little further out, add another keyframe, and then you're just going to move your video wherever it is you had wanted to look to. You just move your frame wherever you want your zoom and your pan to be. So we have that big zoom in, we're looking to the side, and we're zoomed back out. Okay, so the closer within this strip your keyframes are, the faster the transition will be. So if you saw from here to here, this was a pretty slow zoom, but bam, to the side pretty fast, to the side pretty fast, zooming out still a little bit faster. Now let's say you have a subject that is moving and you want to capture some of that movement. You're just going to continue to use keyframes, and I'm so certain there's much smoother of a method of doing this than what I'm going to show, but very rudimentary. We'll just add keyframes in each moment that we want the camera to move. So let's say once we're here, we want to be up zoomed into her. She jumps down. We want to be focused on her still. And as you can see, my cursor is over that keyframe, causing it to highlight red. And let's see what we just did. There you are. And can we just say the most beautiful model to ever exist? Of course. Now, if you go and you highlight over one of your keyframes, you're going to see this graph pop up here. So this graph also helps you put in different keyframes that you would want, different patterns and such that you can adjust. Then once you export, it's going to show the video exactly with those keyframes. You won't have the blue highlight on the side, right? Here's a quick note, okay? This is a 9:16 aspect ratio. Let's say I switch my aspect ratio to a 4:3. Well, bam. Now you can see the frame moving all around to match that zoom. So make sure you start in the aspect ratio you want to finish, or you will have it bouncing all over the frame. Then the final little tip I can give, do your color and your light editing and your filtering and all of that before you start adding in keyframes, because you are able to utilize keyframes to add adjustments and edits. So let's look at that as an example. I'm highlighted over a keyframe. I'm going to go to adjust. Let's just auto adjust it, and let's add a crazy filter for an obvious distinction. As you can see, this is without the filter, but it's all building. The edits are building. We hit that keyframe and they all kind of dissipate and the edits are gone. So make sure you're doing your lighting and your color editing and your filtering and your retouching, all of that. Make sure your film strip itself is exactly how you want it before you start playing with keyframes. And there you have a very rudimentary, very beginner's level introduction to keyframes on CapCut. Why is it beginner's level? Because I'm still learning it, but you guys can bet your asses that the more I learn in that area, the more I will share with y'all. Because let me just say, some of my content, y'all, now I'm making content where I'm just standing there. I'm not doing anything. You know what's doing everything? It's just panning up and down, making it look like I'm doing work. No, I ain't. Y'all, this again has just elevated my content and just inspired me. You know, learning new tips and tricks like this always inspires me to make more content, new content, and think outside of the box. So I hope some of this made sense, and I hope for some of y'all it helps you kind of think outside of the box as well. Alrighty, y'all. Thanks for sitting with me today on this one. This was how to use keyframes within CapCut. Super simple, super rudimentary, as I said, but I hope it helped. And I hope you're safe. I hope you're sane. For the mother of all fuck, I hope you are flourishing.